happening, YouTube? This is Brian916. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. So just like it says below, this is one tool that most auto mechanics do not have. If you do have this particular tool out here, you know how valuable this tool is. If you don't have this tool, then I'm going to recommend that you pick this tool up. This tool is necessary if you work on modern vehicles. It's definitely a get you out of a pinch tool. So let's come over here and take. All right, guys. So what I got right here is basically a plastic welder kit. I mentioned earlier, if you work on modern vehicles, it might be a good idea to buy one of these plastic welders because, well, there's a lot of plastic in modern vehicles. So I picked up a cheap one from Harbor Freight. This kit was like 15 bucks. There's much better plastic welders. I'll leave a link in the description if you're looking for a better quality plastic welder. I'll leave a link in the description and put it in my Amazon store. But there's nothing wrong with this particular Chicago Electric. It gets hot. That's pretty much all you needed to do is to melt plastic. In fact, a lot of times I plastic weld without any of this stuff. I call it the hot knife method. So I'll show you that in a minute. But let's put this thing to use and see how well it works. So let's say you're doing a repair on a customer's vehicle and you end up in a situation like this where the vacuum spout has broken off. You know that this could be a pain type situation. Every auto mechanic's gone through that over just the course of vacuum spout heating, cooling, especially if there's like hot coolant flowing through it and things like that. It's just going to get brittle and break, and you'll try to pull the hose off one day and this will come right off with you, or right off with it. So plastic welding kit is a good idea to be able to repair certain things. So in a situation like this, guys, I would definitely recommend you pick up a plastic welder and go ahead and weld this vacuum spout back on, because it's going to be expensive to replace the whole air cleaner assembly, because most junkyards won't just sell the resonator like this. They're going to want to sell you the whole assembly. So you could end up spending like 100, 150 bucks just over this little broken vacuum spout. So plastic welder is great in situations like this. So let's go ahead and plastic weld this thing on and see how well it works. So that was our spot weld basically. So now we could go around and fill it all in. What I like to do is take some material, melt a little bit of material from the spout and push it back to sort of like fill it in. Also, when you set the spout down initially, make sure that you set it back down exactly where it broke off at. It should fit together like a puzzle. And you don't want it to be on there half cocked, you know. What does half cocked mean? Maybe I should look it up. Anyway, enough of that dumb talk. So let's go around here and fill this all in.
Like I said, I like to just work a little bit of material over. All right, so we got this plastic welded back on. Go around, clean it up. Make sure everything is sealed up. We got one little piece right here we need to work on. All right, so just like that, good as new. So that'll save you a lot of money from having to buy a whole new replacement unit if you get into a situation like that. And you can see that this is, guys, so as you can see, that was a pretty effective repair. Much better than using glue or anything like that, which is going to heat up and fall off. This is a pretty permanent repair. If you get good enough at plastic welding, you could definitely make a solid repair. It's not a cheap repair. So you can see that you could definitely put a hose back on this and use this. So I highly recommend, like I said, picking up a plastic welder if you don't have one, especially if you work on modern cars with a lot of plastic, or if you work on BMWs with a lot of plastic. Plastic welder to get you out of I'll put one of these plastic welders in my Amazon store if you're interested in picking up a plastic welder. However, there's certainly nothing wrong with this Chicago Electric by Harbor Freight. It gets hot enough to melt the plastic, and that's pretty much all you need. And it also comes with a few pieces of plastic in case you may have broke this off right at the base. You may had to have dipped a little bit of plastic in there and add a little bit of material, or maybe you had a crack or a hole somewhere. You can add a little bit of plastic in there. So this came with the kit off for 15 bucks. So it's really not a bad. Also, you could plastic weld without buying a plastic welder. I've been doing it for years. So let me show you that method. All right, so let's say that this bracket broke off. You need to get this back on. Alright, so say the bracket broke off like this, and you want to put this back on so you can mount it up properly. Alright, so we're going to use the hot knife method, as I call it. Get you a flat piece of metal, like a screwdriver, something like this. Just heat it up. Well, that's a way to do it that won't cost you anything. The hot knife method, as I like to call it. It's already cooled down. We're gonna stick our little grommet back in here. All right, good as new. So let's get a close-up on how everything turned out. So as you can see, this is not going anywhere. This is pretty much a permanent repair. Other side. Same thing on the other side. I had to add a little bit of filler material to this, but as you can see, you can't even tell where the crack was. All right, guys, well, that does it. That's the one tool that most auto mechanics don't have that they should have. If you don't have one of those, I highly recommend you pick up a plastic welder. Guaranteed it will get you out of a jam. Also, guys, I just got my website up and going, so you guys can head over to brian916.com, check that out. Also, if you got any questions, you can go to the website, ask some questions over there. I'm going to be doing some exclusive videos on the website only. I wanted to put exclusive videos on Patreon, but Patreon only allows video creators to upload a very small file, and I want to give you guys much better content than just maybe a 2 or 3 minute video. So anyway, this is Brian916. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm headed to a pre-licensing course in order to get licensed in the state of California. You have to complete a 6-hour course and then take a test at the DMV. So as you guys know, I'm transitioning into auto sales if you haven't figured it out by now. And so I got most of the hoops jumped through. I just need to take this 6-hour course and then go take an exam at the DMV, and should be pretty close to being able to open my door. That's where I'm headed now. Try to get this over and done with. Oh man. It's about 8:50 a.m. Class start at 9. Looks like I'm about 5 minutes away. Unlike auto repair, auto sales requires much more in the state of California to get off the ground. But once you do actually get off the ground and get licensed, it's not nearly as heavily regulated. It comes with a lot of little perks and things like that, like dealer plates, not necessarily having to register a vehicle. You could put a dealer plate on your vehicle. Say you find a nice vehicle at an auction, you could throw a dealer plate on it and drive around with that dealer plate. Don't have to register it. Like the DMV services, you don't really have to wait in line or anything like that. You can just come in, don't have to make an appointment, and then it's like VIP access into the DMV, things like that. And they don't really harass you like auto repair business, although it's like probably 10 times harder to actually get it off the ground. The amount of hoops that you got to jump through would discourage anybody that's not determined to do it. It's quite a bit. tight fit in here. I should have took my Jeep. All right, we made it. Let's head on down. Hello.
Hello.
All the way down?
Good, thanks. Have a good day.
You too. Sweet 1700.
First row around.
This is the first printing of it.
Retail class. And while that might sound better, maybe it's only going to be 3 or 4 hours instead of 6 hours, here's the problem. You're going to be locked into that kind of license. So if you get the retail license, you'll never be a wholesale dealer. If you get a wholesale dealer, you can never change to be retail.
Really?
Yeah, you won't be able to do auto broker. It's all going to be separate stuff. That's a nightmare for you, right? So right now you guys are taking this at a perfect time. So here's my simple point. If I'm talking about it in the class, it's on the test, all right? Whether it applies to you or not personally right now, bless you, listen to it, make sure you understand it. And if I'm talking about something you don't understand, say, hey, whoa, Art, I don't get that. I'm happy to explain it to you.
Got through with my test. My test was 95% on a 50 test question. To the next phase. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's Brian 916. See you on the next one.